This guy had it. This guy had it the whole time. Couldn't feel the bait anymore. Hey, you got one? Oh, doggone it. So my wife just lost one. And there is a, we're way offshore right now at this little lake. And there's literally a bunch of bait out here. And the little Wiz Gidget that I introduced you to on the last video is what we're catching them on. In order to rig this thing, just go back to the last video. I go over all the rigging. This is an outstanding bait. That bass had it in his mouth and held on to it. I didn't even know he had it. And I just lost the feel for the bait and the bass had it. So this is a great technique, great for lakes that have a lot of wood, any type of vegetation. You're going to be able to get it right through there. Hey everybody, it's Dalton. Wife and I out here at a little lake out here in Northern California. It's got a lot of cover in it. Caught my first bass this morning on a bladed jig. That worked real well this morning. There he is. I knew one. There you go. That one's better.
Yeah.
Okay. Bladed jig. Nice chunky largemouth, a little bigger than I've been getting out here. Not a bad deal. Show you what I caught him on. Caught him on a chatterbait. This is a Z-Man chatterbait, also known as a bladed jig. 10-pound test braid. Took about foot and a half. Colored it black. And when he hit it really. What we did was we found a little offshore area where we were way offshore. There was a lot of timber out in the water, tons of bait fish, and we caught a lot of them. And let me tell you what we caught them on. Wiz Gidget. Wiz Gidget. Take your time. Yeah. I got one. Oh, I had one. Oh, I think you had it.
Oh. This is what you get from using your husband's Wiz Gidget contraption. I don't know.
My last video, I talked about how to rig. I didn't know what to call it, so I called it a Finesse Texas rigged, nail weighted Wiz Gidget. And so what you have here is you have it Texas rigged. And again, I got that little nail in there. And in order to, if you want to know how to rig this up, just go back to my last video. I went through it pretty much step by step. The one thing I want you to notice about a lake like this, and I'm going to have my wife kind of take the camera and kind of follow me here. You have these little areas like this where you have overhang branches. There's some back here. There's a big area here that's open. These are really good areas to take a bait like this and throw it in there. You know, you're underneath a shade pocket, get it back there. And when you're working a plastic worm, what you want to do is the biggest thing you want to do, any plastic worm, whether it's this one or any other one, you got to keep your rod tip up. By keeping your rod tip up and just dragging that worm along, you're actually going to feel the bass before he feels you. If the rod tip's down, a lot of times you're not going to feel that bass, he's going to feel you. You want that rod tip up, and you want to just inch this bait along a little bit at a time. Now another thing that's real cool about this bait is you can skip it, just like skipping a rock. And you can get it way back in an area. That was an easy one because the tree limbs are high there. But when you're looking at this area over here, you can skip a bait way back up in there where those bass hang out. Some people are nervous about doing that. You might lose a bait or even the bass. Well, I wouldn't worry about losing something you never hooked to begin with. I'd throw it back there. If you get a good bass, hey look, I'll get my trolling motor. That's shallow water. If I got to jump in the water and get that bass, I'm going to do it. It's just going to, my feet's going to get wet, so what? So for this video here, this was the winner today. This little bait, a Ned rig approach. It's not a Ned rig though, very Texas rig, but the only thing similar is it's small like a Ned rig. And it just worked really good. So we have several fish catches we're going to show you in this video. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon. That's that bait. I don't have a name for it, so I call it a Wiz Gidget. Right long. There we go. Camera on.
There you go. You know it.
Oh, he ran toward you, didn't he?
Oh. I'm like, wait a minute. Something's going on.
These bass are absolutely loving the Wiz Gidget, and I love them.